I used to think that going viral was magic until I finally cracked the code. In this video, I'm going to explain the 8 factors that I used when I was testing content for short form video on Instagram and exactly what worked and what is just noise and distraction. Listen, if you're anything like me, you're someone who's trying to get your name out into the void. You're putting content out into the internet and you're sick of putting hours and hours of effort into a piece just for it to flop. And you're sick of sitting there thinking, I don't know what I'm going to freaking post today. I'm sick of feeling this way. So, listen, this is the story. I had surgery on my leg, on my left knee, and I couldn't walk. I had a lot of extra time, and so instead of sulking and being sad, whoa, poor me, I decided I needed to create a challenge for myself. And because it was directly relevant to exactly where I'm headed, personal brand, being a founder, getting your name out there, I created a challenge for myself to test as much possible content across every single platform of social media for the past, well, now it's been about 7 to 8 weeks. Listen, I finally cracked the code of Instagram Reels, and this directly plays and trickles down into every single platform because sure, there's some special things you're going to find out about Instagram, but there are some basic keys. There's some basic information about content in general that you're going to need to rinse and repeat and put into action time and time again until it really becomes locked in and solid in the back of your brain. Trust me, I've been posting for 2 years. And here we are, we're finally making a mark in the social realm. So these are the 8 things that I tested. On-screen hooks, caption length and structure, posting frequency, visuals, identity statements, loop mechanics, music selection, posting time. All right, so there's a couple things that I want to show you. Instagram. All right, so there's a couple things that I want to show you. Instagram has over 2 billion users, and about 25% of those people are creating content. That means that the challenge is really high. There is a steep incline and a climb that you're going to have to reach the top. Now, that means most of the things that you're going to see on your For You page are curated. It's people who have figured it out, cracked the code. So, that being said, there are larger users that you can learn from. But you have to bring in, of course, your own unique voice and personality into everything that you do. Now, and our goal was to kind of keep some factors the same and test the things that could change. Now, the biggest things that we're going to change here are the hooks, the captions, the music, the posting time. Don't worry, soon enough it will be habit and a much smoother ride once you understand what all of these pieces mean. So, let's chat about the factors that are just noise that you don't actually need to worry about when you first get started and get going. Number 1, posting time. Here's the truth. On Instagram, if something is relevant and it will win, posting time is no longer an excuse. I'm sorry. We don't get to complain because I was posting at 9 a.m., at 2 p.m., at 5 p.m., at 7, at 9 p.m., at 11, and guess what? A majority of the videos that I actually posted were at 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. because I'm a night owl. I have a problem. But what does that mean? We obsess over viral posting times, but the truth is that's really only relevant on LinkedIn because that's a special platform. That's something else. So, decision spaces. Now, there is something interesting about the psychology of posting time. When we wake up in the morning, we might be more ready to gear up and plan and make a purchase. Same with maybe the afternoon. When we move into the night, the evening, we're winding down and we are probably more susceptible to emotion and other pieces like that. So now these are just interesting things that I want to put in your brain, but it's not relevant for a video to really take off. Number 2, music trends. There's this idea that if you can catch a sound early before it has a bunch of videos under it with millions and millions of views. I wanted a video that had videos that had less than 1 million. I did not want to see that million number because that means that this sound has been used again. And there's this idea, kind of like a bull rush, a stock market. If you catch a trend early, you can kind of like ride that music wave. But once again, this is not the end all be all. It is something to think about. It is something to create a habit as you make it all work, but it is not the thing that is actually pushing the dial and making content work. Next is aesthetic vibe. Listen, I'm an aesthetic person. I come from a photography and videography background, filmmaking. I am all about aesthetics, and my issue is that I wanted my page to be pretty for way too long. And what did that cost me? So much time. I was trying to create perfect content that was super aesthetic, and it took me hours upon hours. And it was, well, it was art for me. I won't say it's a waste of time, but it doesn't fit the goal of trying to grow, and trying to grow more efficiently, like these short form videos do. So, aesthetic vibes, cool, great, and part of my brand too, but not the thing that's gonna push the dial. There is something special I want to note. You'll notice on videos that sometimes they have a hook. So you see how he like left the phone right there? There's this idea, if you create a slight change in the first like second that a video plays, it's more likely to perform. So like if you set your phone down to set the camera up to record a video, that is one thing that might like be just a little factor. Once again, one of those things that if you can make it a habit to remember, you can create content better. Loop tricks, what I mean by that is like having videos that are satisfying, that are gonna loop over and over again. So I'm gonna show you one that does. I'm pretty sure the video will made it to the beat. This video is a loop. You'll see that in the end, and boom, it starts over again. And like visual, just really good connect. This is something that's nice, great, and extra like very on top. It's not going to push your mouth. Boom. Last but not least, typos. I've had, pushing all this content out, I've had a lot of many opportunities where I accidentally spelled the word wrong. But honestly, that's okay. First of all, it shows you're human, which is great in this day and age. But second of all, it catches people's attention. So if someone sees like, oh my gosh, they spelled they're wrong, what a dumbass, they feel a need to go comment, boom, they just gave you some engagement, and that's gonna help you like push out some of your content. The number one thing that's gonna get your content pushed out to more people right now is this share button. If they privately share your video into someone else's DM, if you share your video to someone else in your DMs, what are you doing? You're getting them back on the app. Boom. Or they saw some part of their identity that they felt the need to share to a friend, or it was funny and it made them look good, so they shared it to a friend, or they posted it to their story because it was something that they themselves embodied and were proud of. People don't just put anything on their stories and share it to their friends. They do it because it makes them feel good or them look good. So what do we need to look at? It is psychology. So after 6 weeks, 3 factors outranked everything else. Number one, of course, come on, most people know this. It is always the hook. Always the hook. In every single piece of content that I put out, I work backwards from the hook. I brain dump, I make a killer hook, and then we write the content of the post. But what does that mean? This was the best thing for me to test. So as I was testing, so let me just show you. I tested many hooks that had like the same realm of thing, but they just weren't hitting like they should. So I did 1, 2, 3. I tried that many hooks, and listen, none of these, I tried different music, all that stuff. None of these popped off. So that shows me that none of these hooks are winning. When I get to something I posted recently, you can see a clear difference. these two out, this hook performed better than these two. So that's the one I need to learn from that. What's different about this? And then can I reiterate a hook like this? Now that's out of a test of these three. Here I tested two. This hook outperformed this significantly by like 3/2. So if we want people to save, if we want people to repost and to share, we have to stop them first. We can't. We're not going to get any of that if they just keep scrolling, right? So how do we figure out how to stop them? And that's an entirely different topic completely. But what I can tell you is people need to see themselves in your hook. If you wrote something and they consumed it and they laughed inside and they thought, oh, that's me, that's how I feel, or I feel the need to send this to my boyfriend, I think this is funny, or they think that this is how I act, people, that's what gets people to move. So if you're not already, when you start consuming content, you're going to consume it differently after this video, because you're going to think like, why did this stop me in my tracks? Hold on, wait, like this just made me laugh. Why? Start asking why as you move throughout the world and start reacting, because we have so much that we can learn internally from ourselves. That's actually where we should start. The next thing is frequency. This is a feature that not everybody has access to. This is called trial reels, this little zone. Now, if you show your loyalty to Instagram, they kind of roll it out sporadically to individuals, but I'm pretty sure if you start posting at least at a cadence of 2 per week for maybe more than 3 months, you're going to gain access likely to this. And it is basically the cheat code of Instagram, and it's severely underused. And the reason that I felt comfortable testing content, especially on Instagram so heavily, is because you can post an endless amount of videos and it will not show to the people on your page. It is like, that feeling like I don't want to bother my people, and especially not with the same content over and over again. Like, people are just going to follow me, right? This is the ultimate testing environment. And you know what this created for me? This created scale. This created frequency. I was able to post with unlimited lottery tickets here. Unlimited. So I wanted to show you to see what this looks like. There is an app called Edits. It is an app made by Instagram. I'm going to show you what we can do. Don't judge me. I recorded this for this purpose entirely. This is the pick up the phone or the tilt the phone and make a difference in the screen act I've got going right here. See that? So that's a visual hook, if you will. I didn't test those. But this is an app called Edits, and it's made by Instagram, and it is said that if you use their app, they're more likely to push your content out. Which makes sense. Come on, if you have to pay the platforms, that is one thing that is undeniable. You have to pay it in engagement and by utilizing their tools as best as possible. So it's one of those things that's not gonna for sure push the dial. But if you are looking for a place to easily edit your shit, excuse me, to edit, this is the spot to do it. And let me show you something very cool about this platform. You can check out insights directly in here from your reels. So that's just a sidebar note. So if we were to go post this, I want to show you. So just a quick note, this is exactly the format I tested. I tested 7 seconds for every single video and one hook on here that would hopefully, catch the attention. So just so you know, those were kind of the things that I kept the same. I always used some audio, trending audio. So this is the post. Now I'm going to export this. See, it's very cool that you can bring the post directly into Instagram. And then this is going to be a different thing, but here, if you see this bar right here, that means you have access to trial reels. And let's see, there's going to be a pop-up share, blah, blah, blah. So that's how you know. If you don't see it yet, you'll get it if you prove your loyalty and you're showing Instagram that you are a common user. But let me reiterate, trial reels is the most underused function of Instagram and the hack across any channel, because I can test endless amounts of content without embarrassing myself, showing it to people I know, annoying the people that are already in my audience. If you don't hop on this, you are going to miss out, because soon enough people will discover this and it will become overused. Something's going to shift. I don't know. Now, let me also reiterate something else. After testing here, I use what works on my other platforms like TikTok and YouTube. That's part of my strategy. YouTube Shorts. So just an FYI on that one. Anyway, that is trial reels. Welcome. So without the intensity at which I could publish 3 to 6 videos per day, I would never have, first of all, been able to test like this. And second of all, it's unlimited lottery tickets. Social media in general is. That's why I believe in it so heavily. You don't have to pay for ad space to get your name and face out into the world. That to me is a no-brainer, right? So the more reps we get, obviously the better. The more chances we get, obviously the more that something's going to perform. So as I watched these, I watch, and if something's kind of performing, like this one, I would consider publishing this to my main page feed and to my own followers. Once you do that, you're going to increase the views significantly after this. So once this where the fuck should I? Once this one hit at least 10K, I published it, around 10K I should say, I published it to my main feed. So saves are people wanting to come back later. So you can see that it started out pretty low. I saw this, and probably at this point is when I posted it to my main feed, and that gave it just kind of another boost. I was hoping to hit 1 million, but that's okay. So yeah, so these are some of the stats we saw. I had over 500 new followers from one video. We'll get into why I had followers later. So, like I said, it's not magic. There is people who are out here spending hours upon hours and putting the effort in to show up. Is it worth it? I believe it is. I believe that if you really think that you could succeed at something and you have the grit, you have the brand, the story, you have something and you can put it into whatever format you want. I believe that if you do it with enough time and consistency, you can make it work. Or you hire someone else to help you. So I did want to mention one thing. When we look at our metrics, once again, one of the biggest metrics that is going to push content to more people is shares and saves. Likes almost mean little. I keep seeing out there posts with so little likes, but they have such a large amount in these two categories. How do we create the conditions that someone wants to send it, that someone wants to save it, or someone wants to follow you, especially to follow you? You need a killer caption. What does a killer caption do? A caption that is going to convert can do 4 things and potentially more. Number 1, it would shift someone's perspective. You go into someone's life and they believe one thing and you change their opinion in 20 to 30 seconds of them reading their post. You just did something in them and now they trust you. If you convert an enemy into a friend, for example, they're going to be like 5x more likely to stand up for you. That's not an actual statistic, but another thing is if you can name feelings that people have, but they haven't yet articulated, you're going to stick out in their brain. They're going to be like, holy shit, they just saw into my mind. They saw exactly how I think. If they've done this here, they could probably do it again. I'm interested, Another one is it a useful idea? This one specifically, it was a list of things that people want to return to, or it was a list of ideas that people wanted to share with their friends so that they could have this common knowledge, right? So the caption on this one specifically, see, this is a filter for the ambitious people. Nothing like that. That attracted the people that I wanted, having that one little filter in there. Anyway, this is filled with really great ideas that I brainstormed up back and forth with ChatGPT. So people were like, oh my gosh, I want to know. I want to save this for later. And of course, most of us save something, never return back. But you also need to ask for what you want. I used to think it was obvious that I wanted a follower, save, or all these things. No, no, no. You have to be so blunt and upfront. Listen, if you want more of this content, follow. Save this idea for later. Like, send this to your friend who you think needs to hear this today. You need to ask so specifically a user to do something, take an action, even if it feels selfish or all the things. Listen, getting content out there in general is selfish. You're already past that. Just ask for what you want, and that is conversion in some way or form. So, listen, virality, it's not magic. It's really not. It is a pinpointed strategy that people show up with time and time again. If there is 2 billion users and 25% of those are creating content, oh my God, that's so much. I can't even imagine, right? You need to come in and really understand what you're doing. And let me tell you, all of this starts with who you're trying to serve. You need to get very, very specific on your niche. Unfortunately, I didn't want to listen to that advice for a very, very long time, but I had to sit for hours and hours. Okay, I don't want to make this overwhelming, but like, I shifted time and time again, and my content used to be all over the board, posting about health, about travel, about entrepreneurship, about ambition, and I kind of rooted it down to, on this page specifically, I want to help people live a cool life, a cool lifestyle, ambitious individuals who see more for themselves. And ultimately, that's who I am. And that's why I think that it worked extra well. You need to get very for real with yourself about what drives you, who are you trying to serve. There's a ton of, sometimes it really requires outside help. It requires like a third person, third perspective. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please share it with someone if it was helpful for you at all. And last but not least, if all of this sounds very overwhelming, too much, you have no time for this, I have an excellent team over at SSS Lighthouse Creative who are helping founders and speakers turn their brand into the standout of their category. If you want to be a leader and you want to get seen and remembered, I know exactly who can help us. Give us a call, send us a chat, and I hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.